Good morning, welcome to another Friday Live. My name is Sherry Roth. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Sherwood Park, Alberta, Canada, and I am excited to be here to craft with you today. We're going to do something completely different than I normally do today, and I'm excited to give it a shot. I am just going to pull this up on my iPad so I can see your comments. As you join in, just say hi so I know that you're here. And if you have any questions at all as we go through, feel free to pop a comment below and I will try to respond as I see them. Good morning to everybody who's saying hi. Kim and Kathy and Shara, and I think that's it so far. Okay, so first of all, every week you have the opportunity of winning last week's projects. So we're gonna start with that. The way that you get your name entered is by commenting, asking a question during the live, or if you're watching the replay, or if you're watching it downloaded on YouTube. Feel free to comment. I try to get back to the questions that you ask, and you get 1 entry for each comment that you make, and 5 entries if you share. So last week I created this birthday card. It was kind of a fun fold using the Come Sail Away suite. So it kind of looked like that. So I've got everybody who commented their names in a bin, and everybody who shared, thank you so much. And Beth's the winner. So I know she's won before. I have her address. So I will pop that in the mail for her. All right, so before we get started on the crafting, I wanted to share some of the fun upcoming patterned papers that are in the holiday catalog. I got my holiday catalog pre-order and I'm just so excited about some of these patterns. So I wanted to share them with you because I know when you see the holiday catalog, which you should get if you're on my mailing list, you should get towards the end of August, beginning of September. The pictures in the holiday catalog and it doesn't matter what catalog it does, and it doesn't matter how Stampin' Up! Changes it. Pictures just do not do patterned paper justice. Okay, so first of all, let's start with okay, we'll just go in order here. Let's see here. This first one is Night Before Christmas. This is a 6x6 paper pack, and it's got some fun colors. I love the yellow and the blue. So it's not just red and green. So that's kind of fun. So these are all kind of the Christmassy kind of patterns. And then on the back, good morning, Kristen. They're a little bit more geometric, and a lot of them can be used for something other than Christmas. So I love that. Love, love, love it. Okay, so that was the Night Before Christmas. Next one up is Wrapped in Plaid. So the colors in this one, Cherry Cobbler, Night of Navy, and Shaded Spruce. I don't know, I'm really loving Night of Navy lately, so I'm glad that they've put Night of Navy in so many different paper packs. Sorry, I'm just trying to spread them out so that you can see them a little bit better. So this one's all about the plaid. Good morning, Andrew. So we got some beautiful plaid patterns, and then we've got some seasonal ones, some trees and some stockings, but then some stripes and polka dots there as well. And a lot of these as well can be used for something other than Christmas as well. Okay, so that's the Wrapped in Plaid. All right, now we've got, this is one of my favorites. I love the colors in this one. It's called Let It Snow. So the colors are Basic Black, Blueberry Bushel, Coastal Cabana, Flirty Flamingo, Real Red, Shaded Spruce, and Whisper White. And so this one is a snowman theme. It's a specialty paper. Actually, the plaid one is a specialty paper too. It's got gold foil in it. So this is a 12x12 paper pack. Love, love, love the colors. And let me show you the back, and then I'll show you a couple of them close up here. Okay, so again, we've got some that are just striped that you don't have to use for Christmas. But look at the shimmer on this. So the specialty part, I don't know if you guys will be able to get it. Can you see the shimmer? A little bit, not a whole lot, but it's so cute. So on one side of most of the patterns, not all of them, there's that beautiful shimmer. This one is really cute too. Wouldn't that be a cute border strip across a scrapbook page? And then this one has some glimmer on it as well, the trees. So, love that one. Okay, now, moving on, let's do Halloween next. So this one is called the Monster Bash Designer Series paper. Colors in this one are basic black, crushed curry, pumpkin pie, soft suede, terracotta tile, very vanilla whisper white. And this, I love it when Stampin' Up! Shares where their inspiration comes from. So this one is, it has a bit of a Harry Potter inspired bit to it. So these are the ones that are obviously Halloween. So again, this is a 12 by 12 paper pack. Love this little stack of books. And these little frames that can be cut out, like it's a whole sheet of just frames that can be cut out and added as accents. So that's kind of fun. And then we flip it over, and some of these patterns can be used, are generic. They don't have to be used for Halloween. Like the yellow and the gray one here, those do not have to be used for Halloween. And then these two pages, I believe it's these two, were inspired by Harry Potter. So this, with the little footprints and the map, is it called the Marauders map or something like that? I can't remember what it's called. And then this one, so kind of the newsprinty kind of thing, you know how it's got the moving pictures. So that, I thought that was really fun. So there's that. And then another one of my favorites is called Brightly Gleaming. And this is another specialty one. It's 12 by 12, and this one has copper foil in the patterns. So you can see all of those sides, they have like a beautiful copper foil. And again, there's several patterns in here that are not Christmassy. Like the ornament one is obviously Christmassy. There's a pattern on the back that is kind of Christmassy, but most of the other, oh, and the holly berry I guess is kind of Christmassy, but all the other ones could be used for anything. And then here is the back. Love the colors in this one. So the colors in this one are Mossy Meadow, Night of Navy, Pretty Peacock, and Very Vanilla. Mary Liz says she might have to fight Andrew for some of that Halloween paper. Okay, and then the last one I have to share with you is the Come Together Designer Series paper. So the colors in this one, Cajun Craze, Early Espresso, Mary Merlot, Mint Macaron, Pear Pizzazz, Pretty Peacock, and Whisper White. Okay, so you can see I've used some of this already. Okay, so we've got a beautiful plaid pattern. This, oh, I love this one. And then it comes in, this one is similar as well. Beautiful. And then this, seriously, I mean, wood grain, I could use a whole package of that pattern paper. And then some stripes. And then Mary Merlot and Cajun Craze. It's an interesting color combination. I do like the two colors together. And then here's the backs. So again, lots of versatility in this paper pack as well. All right, so all of these paper packs, and there's a couple more, I don't have all of them. All of these paper packs will be available to customers September 4th when the holiday catalog goes live. Or if you want to take advantage of the fabulous starter kit deal right now, you can include them as part of your starter kit as well. All right, one more thing that I want to talk about before we go into crafting. Laura Milligan, a demonstrator in the States, and I just did a whole revamp on our cards, our classes to go, and we are now calling them heartfelt card kits to go. And we just released the first one yesterday, and it's using the Above the Clouds bundle. So here's a little peek at some of the cards. Love the colors in here. We've got Calypso Coral, Petal Pink, and Pool Party. So all the details are posted on my blog for that, and after the video goes live, or after I'm done the video, I'll post a link to that if you guys are or want more information. But it's a little bit different because we are hoping to make it a little bit more interactive. So there will be, if you aren't on Facebook, there will be an option for you as well, because I've had a few questions about that, because I know not everybody's on Facebook. But we've set up a Facebook group, and once we get registration, once you pay for your registration, you get access to that Facebook group where we'll post alternates. We will do a Facebook Live for the class, so you get to see the projects in action and see exactly how they're made rather than read instructions. And you'll be able to post projects that you create with those products as well. So it's kind of a little bit different, maybe a bit more interactive than the previous kits have been. So we're excited to launch that. All right, so I'm gonna flip my camera around and share what we're gonna do today, which I'm a little nervous about because I haven't done this before. Okay, just bear with me for a second. Okay, let's see how this looks. Okay, we'll move this up. Okay, so I'm gonna do something a little bit different, something that I have never done on a Facebook Live, and I am going to scrapbook and kind of explain my process as I go through. Those of you who follow my blog, you know that I am doing a 31-day scrapbooking tips series, so I thought that this would be a perfect fit. And yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. First of all, I picked out my picture. So I've only got, this is from, I think it was 2000, oh no, I can't remember now. I'd have to look back at the album. But I pulled out, I was flipping through some albums and I only have 3 photos left in an album. So I'm so excited to be so close to finishing it. So I decided to choose this photo. It's from our trip to Fiji. We were laying beside the pool and I happened to look up and what a beautiful view, right? So I thought I snapped a photo and we're going to scrapbook that. So I went through my patterned paper and I kind of pulled out, I really liked, so there's some of similar blues in here, there's some greens, but just subtle greens, but then there's a hint of like purple right here in the photo, so I loved that there was some purple in this paper. So I've pulled out some Perennial Essence paper, I've pulled out the sheet, the kind of the patterns that I thought might work best. So I thought maybe some of the pink and then some of this pattern, and I pulled out the scraps that I had. I also pulled out some vellum because sometimes I like to soften the photo a little bit and mount it on some vellum. I pulled out some scraps for stamping and I pulled out some tissue paper, and you'll see what I use the tissue paper, what I like to use the tissue paper for in a bit, okay? All right, so the other thing that I did was I have this little sketchbook that I kind of keep, if I come across a sketch, I'll jot it down, a sketch that I like. Sometimes I'll save it on Pinterest as well. Sometimes if I see a layout that I really like, I will sketch it out. And then if I have an idea for a photo to use and a title, I will jot down some notes. So this is the sketch that I'm gonna use. So I saw a layout that it was actually, I think it went like this. So the picture was vertical and then this bit was up here. I rotated it because my picture is horizontal. Not 12 by 12, Mary Liz. I am going to be working with 12 by 12, yes. And you'll see that in a minute. I've got a white base that I'll pull in and use as the base of the page. All right. So then I jotted down, I kind of jotted down where she had her accents and then I jotted down some notes. So I have palm tree photo, title, Paradise Found. I thought that would be a great title for the layout. And then I like to add a bit in the background. Sometimes I don't necessarily want to add tons of layers of DSP. Sometimes I really love a white, clean and simple background. That just seems to be the phase that I'm going through right now. But I like to add a bit of color to the back. So you'll see, so I've jotted down sponge splatter background And then I wanted to use the hot air balloon as accents, that stamp set as accents. So I kind of jot down some notes. So, and I've got more information on how I use this in my Let's Get Sketchy class if you're interested, and afterwards I'll post a link to that. All right, so for my background page, I am using a piece of 12 by 12 Whisper White, and I had to go ahead and splatter. I love splatter. I do it on almost all of my scrapbook pages right now. Again, probably another fad that I'm going through. I seem to go through stages where I do, white background has been a stage that has lasted a long time. A part of it has to do with Stampin' Up! Doesn't carry a ton, well, they carry all of their colors in 12 by 12, but it's a single pack. So if I'm doing a class, it makes it hard. I think you get 2 sheets in a mixed pack. So it makes it hard to do classes with colored cardstock as background, but I just love the look of a white background. So I've gone ahead and I've splattered, because my photo's gonna go kind of right here, and then I'm gonna have a cluster of embellishments up there. I decided to splatter going across like this and just a little bit at the top. So I've gone ahead and done that with gold splatter. So you can use gold shimmer paint, you can use, which is retired, but I believe it was, last time I checked, it was on the clearance rack, so you can get that as steal of a deal. So I just wet my paintbrush, dip it in the shimmer paint, and then splatter. And you get this gorgeous gold splatter. You can do that with any of our shimmer paints, but you can also do it with ink refills. So in the holiday catalog, we are carrying metallic inks and refills, so you'd be able to use that as well. Okay? So now what I want to do, you saw on my notes that I said sponge and splatter. So I want to add a bit of color in behind where my largest cluster is going to be. So I'm going to use the sponge sprayer. You can also use sponges. And I just want it to be really soft. And at first I thought I would do like a balmy blue, but I think I'm going to do pink. And I'm hoping it'll turn out okay. That's the thing with this is, you know, when I scrapbook on my own, I will sometimes not like something and end up throwing away and starting over, and it can take me hours to do a scrapbook page. So I'm really hoping that this turns out the way I want it to turn out. Happy Friday to you too, Tracy. Thanks for watching. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I want my photo to go right around here. So just like sponging, the first place that you put it down is usually the most concentrated place. So I want that to be behind where my photo is, so it's not as noticeable. And I'm just going to lightly brush all around. And then I'll re-ink. And again, start in the same spot and just kind of brush it around. So you can see that it's really concentrated right there, but that's fine because that is going to be covered over with my photo and my layers. I'll just move it around, do some more. So I don't want it to be all over the page. I just want it to be just subtly around where my cluster is going to be. Okay, so it doesn't look great right now, but that's okay because, like I said, we're just looking for something subtle. Okay, all right, so I think that's enough. I don't want to make it too dark. Let's get that out of the way. Okay, so now my photo's gonna go here. I want to do my strip. Let's see what I've got for scraps of this pattern. This might work. Okay, so I always pull out the scraps as well, because if I can make it work from the smaller pieces, then that's even better. Okay, so I am going to cut this. This is a little wide. So this is gonna be my little flagged area, but what I'll do to make it work is I'm gonna cut it in half, and then I will put half going this way and half going this way so I can stretch the length of it. Good morning, Auntie Donna. So, but it's a little wide, so I'm gonna trim it first. So it is 3 inches. I'm gonna make it 2 inches. And I'm gonna cut it in half or about half, it doesn't really matter. Okay. And I'm going to use my scissors and flag. Actually, I can use my triple banner punch. To flag this because it's under, it's 2 inches or under. So I'm just going to slide that in. I can save that because that might be cute to add up here like that. I don't throw anything away until after I'm done my page. Let's just make sure I've got this going. Slide that in. Okay, so that is going to go under here like that. And I want this one to be a little longer. So see how that allowed me to stretch that out by cutting that in half? Okay, and I want to add some of the pink in. So I think I'll do a narrower strip. Okay, so I have this scrap. No, I don't need that. Bring in my paper cutter, and I want this to be a little bit smaller. I'm going to do about 1.25 inches. And these are all just, like, I'm just guessing. I think I need to replace the blade on my paper cutter. It's kind of shredding my paper and not cutting it properly. Okay, so I'm going to slide this in. Now, this is set up for 3 different sizes. I think it's 1 inch, 1.5 inches, and 2 inches. This is 1.25 inches. I can still use this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide it in and center it from side to side. And punch, and then I'm going to do the same thing from this end. And I'm going to save those, and then I will cut this in half. Get this back in here. Oh, this is a little longer. Let's use this one on this side. Okay, so this ties in the pink in the background. So that will go like that. Okay, and I'll make sure that they're straight afterwards. Okay, let's get that out of the way. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I want to trim the white. Do I want to trim the white? Yeah, I want to trim the white off of here. So I am going to, it was printed with a white border, and sometimes I like that because I end up matting my photos in white, but I want to use the tissue paper to give it a bit more texture this time. So I'm just trimming that white off. Okay. All right, so let's get this out of the way for a minute. Okay, now I'm gonna bring in my tissue paper. So what I'm gonna do is, this is just regular white tissue paper, nothing fancy, is I've got it doubled over, so there's 2 layers here. I am going to add adhesive to the back of my photo. Can you guys see that? Move it up a little. And then I'm going to stick this down. Right on here, like that. And then I'm going to flip this layer up. Now, on this layer, I am not going to use my fast fuse because I find that it tears the tissue paper. So I'm going to use a bit of tear and tape to stick this together. So I'll just put a bit of tear and tape down here and here. So how many of you that are watching are scrapbookers? Some of you I know scrapbook. And if you do scrapbook, what is your preferred size or method? Do you prefer digital scrapbooking, traditional scrapbooking, pocket pages, 12 by 12, 6 by 8. What do you prefer? I need my paper piercing tool here. Snail would work too, right? You know what? Snail would probably work, yes, because it's not quite as sticky. The fast fuse is just too sticky, and I find it tears the tissue paper. Oh, see, even this, you gotta be very careful. Mary Liz says she's just starting journal size. Yes, I love my journal size scrapbooking. I did a traveler's notebook in that size for our trip, which isn't finished yet, but will be soon. And I do it for kind of everyday photos as well, which I will share one of these days during this 31 scrapbooking tip series. Okay, so now I'm just taking a pair of long-handled scissors and roughly cutting it just to get this out of the way. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my long-handled scissors, and I do recommend long-handled scissors because you can get a longer, straighter cut than with shorter handled scissors. And I'm not worried about perfection. It's not about making it perfect. It's all about the texture that the tissue paper adds. And I love the sound of it. I don't know if you guys can hear it as I move it, but I love that sound. Oh my gosh, this end is a bit tricky. Okay, last side. Okay, so that just adds a bit of texture to the layout. It's sticking to my fingers. Okay, so Shara says she loves digital scrapbooking and 8x8 size. Yes, 8x8 for digital scrapbooking I think is perfect. Kristen says she does a bit of scrapbooking. Used to do 12 by 12, then switched to pocket pages. But after seeing this, she might go back to 12 by 12s. You know what, I love 12 by 12s. I've been experimenting with 6 by 8 this year for our family album. And you know what, 6 by 8 is faster. I do like it. I am almost caught up on this year's family album, which is great because I have like 20 years worth of albums to catch up on. So it is nice to be almost caught up. But I do miss 12 by 12. Like I find that scrapbooking, even if I did a solid 6 by 8 photo or page, I find that it's very different. You're limited in that size compared to 12 by 12, where you've got freedom to embellish and decorate, and so I find it is very different. Okay, so now I'm gonna bring in my piece of vellum, and this, I'm just gonna roughly measure this. So this is about, it's about 4 inches. So, and so this tissue paper is about 1/8 of an inch. I want a wider border. So I think I'm gonna cut it 4.5 by 6.5 and see how that goes. So I'll start with my 6.5 inch cut and then do 4.5. Okay, I feel like it needs another color underneath there. So what I might do, let's see, do we want to do just a touch of this? No. No, it's too green. Okay, I might pull in the purple, so I'm gonna grab some blackberry. Let's see. Yeah, I like the purple. Okay, so pulling my paper cutter again. And for this one, I'm gonna do it, so it was about 4 1/4, so I'm gonna do it 4 3/8. I just want a really small border by 6 3/8. 1, 2. Let's see how that looks. Oh my, I did not measure that right. What did I do wrong there? Oh, it was 4, not 4 1/4. So I want 4 1/8 by 6 1/8. Actually, let's do a touch bigger. Okay. Yeah, that's perfect because I just want just a touch of that purple peeking through. And I'm going to kind of roughen this up a little. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna put adhesive here, I'm gonna put adhesive on here. And oftentimes I don't put my adhesive right close to the edge so that it will allow me to tuck little embellishments and stuff in if I decide to do so. Okay, and now I'm gonna stick that on my vellum. Oh, I got something sticky somewhere. All right. Brett says, I love scrapbooking. Never thought I would, but I've fallen in love with it and my kids enjoy seeing all the pictures. I know, that brings me so much joy when I see my family go through our albums, or I hear about other people's families enjoying the albums that they've created. Like seriously, that I just love, love, love that. Okay, I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure what just happened. My iPad just went all wonky. Okay, let's hope that, is everything okay on your end? Because my iPad just started typing. I didn't even touch it, and it just started typing what I was saying. It was kind of weird. Okay, so let's see. I want this a little longer. Okay, good. All right. Okay. Okay, so I want this about here, like that. And then I'll take this piece, and what I'll do is I will put it closer together so that I can make sure that I line it up. So a little trick. Okay, then I'll add some adhesive to the back of this, and then it's just basically eyeballing it. I think that looks, oh, I put adhesive on the wrong side. Okay. That looks good. Now I'll add adhesive to this. Again, not going too close to the edge so that I can tuck. And let's see, how high do we want it here? Probably about like that. Try to make sure it's straight. Okay, I think it's okay. All right, so now I want to do my title, and I'm going to do the word, I'm going to do Paradise Found, So I've gone ahead and pre-cut using the purple, the word paradise. I love to mix fonts, and in my sketch I had it down here, but I don't think I want to do it down here. I think I want to do it. I want to do it up here. So just because I drew it out the way it is, the way I drew it, doesn't mean that I have to commit to doing it that way. So I'm going to play around with the positioning and decide where I want to put it. So this uses the, I think it's called the hand-lettered prose alphabet. And I love this because, first of all, there's no stamp set to coordinate with it, so you don't have to worry about stamping and then cutting. You can just cut out. You can get it in whatever color or pattern you want. You never have to worry about running out of alphabet or letters. It's perfect. And I love that it's kind of scripty, which is really, really trendy right now. Paradise, I don't like it there. Let's try moving it over here. Okay, yeah, I think it'll go there. Did I spell that right? Paradise? For some reason it's looking wrong. Okay, so before I stick anything down, I want to put my embellishments where I want them. So I want to pull in some of this up at the top here. I might do that and then use a bit of pink as kind of a flag coming out, because I want to cover up that big blotch. That's the thing when you splatter, you don't always have control. So I'll do about, I don't want it too big. I do want the stripes going the same way as the other one. So, okay, I'll cut about 1 inch. Okay, Brett, back to your comment about scrapbooking. Do you do a combination of both, right? 12 by 12, traditional and pocket pages. Do you do any other sizes? Okay, so I can't reach the punch. I'm just gonna hand cut the flag here. All right, so I'm gonna stick that there. I don't know that I want to use this. It's not quite the look I'm going for. Okay, I'll just move those to the side. But I do want to bring in this pattern. So I want to bring in a little bit more of the blue. So I'm going to pull in bring that in, but this time I'm not going to flag this. I'm going to make this like a tag. So what I do is I trim off one side and then I use that piece, flip it over, and then trim off. Oh, when they're small it's hard to line up here. Okay, and it gives me a relatively even it makes it relatively even on both sides. Okay, and then let's pull in a touch. Okay, so the blue that's in this paper is called Blueberry Bushel. So I am going to grab a scrap of that. And I want my 1/2 inch circle punch. And I'm going to stick that. Oh, I don't know that I like that. What if we did maybe the gold? Tie in some of the gold. Let's try that. Let me grab some gold foil. All right. Oops. just because it's too big. Let's try a smaller punch. Okay. So I think this is about 1/4 inch. That's better. Okay, so that's gonna go like that. And then, okay, so now we're gonna do some stamping. We're gonna stamp some embellishments. Let's stick this down first. We're gonna commit to this. So that's gonna go right here. I think that's straight. And then we'll stick this on here. So not very many of you who are on here scrapbook, or at least you haven't commented that you scrapbook. It's interesting. Add. Is there anybody who used to scrapbook and doesn't scrapbook anymore? And if so, why do you not scrapbook anymore? Just curious. Okay, we might add something to the center of that. I don't want to commit to putting my title down just yet. I want to figure out placement for my embellishments first. Okay, so I'm going to carefully set this aside while I move in. Kim doesn't have the time. Okay, yeah, time is a big thing. All right, so now I am going to use the hot air balloon punch and the above the cloud stamp set. And my Stamparatus. So I'm going to give you guys a little tip here. All right. So if you take the punch and punch out just from a scrap and then keep it in your stamp set, you can use this as a template over and over and over. The thing is, what you do want to do is you want to note which way it goes. So when I was doing, because I pre-did some balloons, just so that you don't have to watch me do it over and over, I had done it this way. So I had everything all lined up. It seemed to work perfectly. And then I went to punch it. And of course you slide it in and everything is backwards. So it's important to write top or something, this side up, something on there so that you know which way it goes, so that it coordinates or it matches with the punch. Okay, so what you do is I am going to choose one of my outline balloon images, and I'm going to position it right in here. I'm going to stand up. Okay, that looks good. And then I'm going to take the outline of the basket and position it in here. And this is a little trickier because it tends to want to stick to your fingers. And if you have to slightly move it, okay. Oh. Okay, I think that looks good. And then I'll close this down. And then, oops, I'm gonna move this sideways because it's easier to ink on the side. I'm gonna put, I like to ink it when this is an even surface. I find you get less ink around the platform if it's even. Okay, so now because this is a photopolymer stamp, you want to make sure that you've got this black foam mat in there. So I'm going to ink this up. I'm going to use Memento Black. And I've got my cardstock in there, magnet to hold it in place. And then I'll stamp it down. Okay, looks good. And then what I'm gonna do, let's just give that a clean. Mary Liz asks what the triangle is. You know, I think it's so that you can do your own banner. It doesn't match up with this banner. Like if you look It's bigger, but I think they've done it so that you can punch out a bunch of triangles and create your own banner. That's what I'm guessing it's for, because there's no other image in there that is a triangular shape. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to rotate this around. I'm going to take the solid image. So this is a 2-step stamp. So I'm gonna take the solid image, and instead of using this to line it up, because I find you can't get it quite right if you use that punch, but if you've used what you've just stamped as your guide, it seems to be more accurate. So then I'll close that. Okay, put my cardstock, make sure it's right up in that corner. And then I'm going to use some Blackberry Bliss. I want to try something first because I don't know how dark this is gonna be, so I'm gonna stamp it on scrap first and then stamp it off and see how it looks. See, I don't have that stamp underneath there, and look how I got ink all over that. So, or that stamp set case. So let's move that back in there. It's just so much easier to not get it on when it's flat. Okay, so I am going to pull in just a scrap piece here, stamp it off, and then I'm going to stamp it on here and see how it looks. And because I'm using my Stamparatus, if I don't like the way it looks, if I want it to be dark, I can just re-ink it and stamp it again. Okay, yes, I do want it to be darker. So I'll just ink this up again. Make sure that this is right up in the corner. And stamp it full on. Okay, and I'm happier with that color. Okay, so let's give this a clean and we'll set it aside. Oh, all right. So now the last thing that I'm gonna do before I punch it out is I'm going to take crumb cake and the inside of the basket. So you can do this on the Stamparatus as well. I just find this one is just easier to just stamp. If I was mass producing, I would definitely use the Stamparatus for it. Okay, so now watch this. You slide it in and it lines up perfectly because you use that punch template. There we go. Okay, so we don't need that. Now to put our balloons together, we are going to use some mini glue dots, which I have here somewhere. I'm just gonna add a little mini glue dot to the back of the basket. Okay, so now we've got our balloon. So now I've got 3 balloons. I'm gonna pull in my scrapbook page. And I've got 3 different colors. So I've got the Blackberry Bliss, the Blueberry Bushel, and the Petal Pink. I think I want my Petal Pink up here, blue down here. I think it's gonna go something like that. Okay, and then the other thing I wanna do, the rest of my title is the word found. So I want to put Paradise Found. This is going to get lined up right with the top of that vellum, which my little quilting ruler will come in handy when I go to stick those down. Okay. All right, so next up, I want to do the word found. I'm going to use the Make a Difference stamp set. And I'm going to use these little letters here. Now, what color do I want to do it on? All right, have a safe trip, Christine. Thanks for watching. Okay, so I am gonna do it. I think I wanna tie in a little bit more of that blue. So I think I'll do it in the blueberry bushel. And actually before I do that, I am going to stick my letters down. So I need my Tombow. And I need my ruler. Where did I put my ruler? Here it is. So you guys have seen me, if you watch my lives, you've seen me use this ruler. Love this ruler. So this will help make me get my letters straight. And that's providing that I stuck my photo on straight. Okay, and I want it to line up with the edge of the cardstock of the 12 by 12. So I'm going to start with this side and work my way back. So I'm going to start with the E and then work my way back. That's the thing when you scrapbook. When you do something like this live, you have to watch me do all these menial things. I can't just skip through when it's live. So what does everybody have planned for the weekend? Anything fun? We've got, it's pretty quiet weekend. I'm meeting some friends for brunch on Sunday to celebrate one of their birthdays. So I'm doing that. And apart from that, I'll probably be cleaning and doing some more scrapbook pages for my series. Kristen's making thank you cards. Well, I'm happy to hear you'll be crafting. I haven't looked. Is the weather supposed to be better than it is today? I think it was only supposed to go up to 16 today. Quiet weekend. Looking forward to it, yes. Quiet weekends are the best. Especially because school is coming up soon, and once school hits, I find that life just gets crazy. I love the summer. Brett, if you're still watching, when are you coming back to Edmonton? And did your kids start school down there, or has school started, or will they just wait and start school here? Almost done. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay, so now I am going to use that tiny little alphabet set. Now this, I have mixed feelings about these little alphabet sets. You know, I loved the labeler alphabet. I loved it, but I did lose a letter, and I've already lost a letter in here too. And in the alphabet, the labeler alphabet set, it was a W, which you don't use W's a ton. This one is a T, so I have to be so careful about what word I'm going to use this with. Okay, so I can't just do any word. There's so many words with T. Okay, so I want to do the word found, so I don't have a problem with that. So let me grab another small clear block. No, okay. Let me just clean this. I do not want to lose this little base for my balloon, so just put that back in the case so I don't lose it. All right, so now do I want to put my word Paradise Found here, or do I want to line it up here? Before I do that, I'm going to grab a pencil. I'm gonna do a line. I think I wanna do it close to the photo. So I'm just gonna do a light pencil line there so that I can see it and make sure that my word is not going downhill, because I find that I'm very often stamped downhill. Okay, so F. Soccer tonight, then no big plans for the rest of the weekend. Yay! Did you get to see your grandson this weekend, Tracy? I gotta stand up here. Okay. Okay, so with these little letters, I find that, sorry, just gonna grab my cleaner. Okay, I find that a light touch works best. And don't overthink it. It doesn't matter if it's perfectly straight. The more you do it, the easier it gets to make it straight. See, look, that's not straight. But that's okay. I'm not too concerned about it. In the whole scheme of things, when people look through your album, they are looking at the photos and the stories that you tell. They are, oh, I almost spelt it wrong. That would have been bad. They're looking at the photos and the stories that you tell. They are not looking at how perfectly stamped something is or how straight things are. So that's my whole philosophy. Okay, paradise and found. And D. Oh, that did not. See, when you push too hard, that's what you get. You get a little blurred image. But again, I'm not concerned. Okay, so that can go back in the case. And now I can stick my balloons on because I'm quite happy with where they are positioned. So this, we're gonna pop this up with dimensionals. You should see my desk. Oh my gosh, it's a disaster. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to pull in a bit of gold, a bit more gold, so that I've got gold in the splatter, gold up here, and then I wanted some gold twine. This isn't something that we carry anymore. We have, I know we have silver, and we might have one other color. Where's my adhesive? Here it is. Mary Liz asked, is it easier to do one at a time? She's put the whole word on the block. You know what? You can put the whole word on the block. A couple things to keep in mind. Remember that you're going to flip it over, so you kind of have to do it backwards. And the other thing is, I find that you can't quite get the letters as close together as I like them. So it depends on what you prefer. I like my letters closer together than if I were to put them all in the block at once. But it is much easier if you put them all in the block at once and then stamp just once rather than stamping over and over and over again. Can you guys see what I'm doing? Yeah, you can't, can I? I'm out of the picture here. So I just put a little bit of adhesive up on here, and now I'm adding, I don't even know if that's where I want it. I might actually want it at the bottom. Let's start over. Okay, we're gonna do this a little bit differently here. I'm gonna wrap it around my fingers, and then stick it on like that. Okay, let's trim this. Use these guys since I don't know where my other ones are. They're kind of buried right now. And that is gonna go on right about there. So now I'll add some dimensionals. Sorry, I keep doing that. They can't see the whole page. I keep doing this out of the picture. I usually try to put, if I'm adding dimensionals, kind of dimensionals over top of where some of the twine is as well. So I'll just peel off the backing and then add my balloon here. Okay, so now I'm positioning it. I want to make sure I cover some of the pink, this, and then I don't want any of the corners showing. So strategically placing it so that all of those things are kind of taken care of. This guy I'm going to do flat, so the pink one, which is going to kind of be in behind. So I want my purple or my Blackberry Bliss one to go right about there. So I will position this right about here and then add dimensionals to the back of this one. And I'm not going to add twine behind this one because I've got my 3 splotches of gold, so I'm happy with that. I don't need a 4th one. I love to work in 3s, so you can see I've got 3 balloons as well. And I've got only 2 clusters of embellishments, but I'm going to do something up here. I just don't know what just yet. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Let's trim, since everything is stuck down. Flip this over and trim this off. Okay, so now I need something up here. There are some little tiny balloons in here. I could add a couple of those, just little ones up here. Or I could add a little banner. What am I gonna do here? I think I'm gonna add the banner. Okay, so I'm gonna take the detailed one and the outline one, bring in my Whisper White. Let's move this out of the way for a minute. And I need some blocks. Okay, so I'm going to do the detailed one in black, just because that's what I did for my balloons. And then I am going to pull in the purple up at the top because I don't have any purple yet. So the blackberry. And just do the whole 2-step, stamp the inside of that. Okay, and then I need to fussy cut this because there is no punch or die for it. So I'll just give this a quick cut. And when you cut, it's easiest to move the cardstock and not the scissors. You'll get a smoother cut. And when I fussy cut things, I, excuse me, almost always leave a touch of a white border. And that way, I find it looks better and you can't see the flaws because, I mean, nobody can cut perfectly, right? So you can't notice the flaws as much as if you were to cut right along the outline of the image. Mary Liz says, so fun to watch the process. Shara says, I agree. It's fascinating. Well, I'm glad you find it fascinating. Oh, you like these improv ones best? Well, that's good to know. You know, it does save time on the whole planning. And it's kind of fun. And I think the more I do it, the easier it would get as well. I just find that it does take longer, and I know everybody's busy, but I guess you can come back and watch the replay whenever it suits you if you don't get the chance to watch the whole thing. I know I do enjoy watching process videos. I find when I'm crafting downstairs, I'll sometimes just put on a video on my iPad and just have it on in the background and kind of watch, but It's more about just hearing, you know, why they're positioning things where they are and, you know, that type of thing. Because you get ideas from other crafters that maybe you hadn't thought of, or something different that you can try. I don't know. I enjoy it. Okay. So we've got that little banner. Let's see. I'm gonna put it, I think, right there. Or I can do it more like that. Now, do I want to add something? I'm just going to grab some white wine. So tomorrow, I am going to post the replay for this video, and tomorrow's scrapbooking tip. See, Kristen's working and watching. That's perfect. Making good use of the time, right? Just having it on in the background. Tomorrow's tip is, I believe it's something along the lines of keeping like supplies together, so that it makes it easier for you to find your supplies. And this is good for scrapbooking or card making. Actually, any craft, it would be fine for. I can do that. Let's try that. So this video is actually going to be posted tomorrow. That's when I'll post the replay and details on tomorrow's tip. Actually, I think I want this going this way. But I thought this would be a good video and sharing it live, because you can see that I didn't have everything here with me, but everything is within arm's reach. So I've got my rolly chair and I can roll over and reach my punches. Any of my inks are right behind me. Like, everything is within hand's reach. I know exactly where everything is because I keep all of my like products together. So it makes it easy to do. There had to be a bow. You're right. There had to be a bow. I love bows. So I thought it would tie well in there. I don't know if I like this banner. What if I add the banner? I think I like it better down here and just leave it in the bow up top. What do you think? Mary Liz is right. Very few projects are left without a bow or ribbon of some sort. Okay, so I'm gonna use a mini glue dot to add my bow, because I really like that bow up there. Yeah, Tracy says she likes the banner on the balloon too, so I'll just add that on there. I'll just add a couple mini glue dots in behind a couple of these little triangles. That will make it stick. Plus it dresses up that balloon a little bit. There we go. So I am done. Apart from my journaling, I don't have a lot of journaling that I want to add, and I'll erase that line as well, but I'll make sure that that is fully dry so I don't smear that. I will probably add my little bit of journaling just right here, or maybe right here. I'm not sure. I'll have to figure out exactly what I want to say, and actually I think I'll probably add it right here. But apart from that, I think it's done. What do you guys think? Can you see? There, I think you can see the whole thing if I move it up like that. So see how the soft, just sponging the background just adds just a nice soft touch. Let me bring it closer so you guys can see it a little bit better. And the splatter just adds a little something. I mean, if you're not comfortable splattering, you can also use like enamel dots or sequins, something like that, and you can get a similar look using. You can also use stamps. We've got splatter type stamps that you could use as well. But yeah, so that's another layout done for that album. I can't wait. I will share a flip through when it's done. 2 more to go, and one of them I am going to film a video, because a process video for that, because I had planned on doing that, and I've got all the supplies out. So there'll be another one similar to this, except because I'll pre-record it, Ethan will edit it for me so that he can speed up parts of it. So I'm thankful for a son who knows how to do that kind of thing. All right, so you can watch for that, and I hope you guys will follow. Oh, how do you splatter again, Kristen asked. I used some gold I actually used Heidi Shine, which isn't available anymore. Let me show you what it looks like here. So it looks like this. It's called Color Shine. It's in gold, but you can use, I have the champagne shimmer paint, the white shimmer paint, and the copper shimmer paint. And when I do those colors, I use that. So what I do is I wet a paintbrush, I dip it in the shimmer paint, and then I splatter. So I'll hold my finger out and tap the paintbrush just like this, kind of wherever I want it, and then just dip it in again. So the other thing you can do if you want colors, you can use just a little dot of ink refill, any color of our ink refills, and do the same thing. Dip your paintbrush into some water so that it's juicier, and then dip it into the ink refill, and then just splatter, just like this. I splatter everything. I splatter cards, I splatter, like, it's just a phase that I'm going through. I love it. I don't have the gold shimmer paint. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I think the Vegas gold shimmer paint is on the clearance rack. At least it was earlier this week when I had a look. So you can pick that up and get gold that way as well. All right, and we have in the holiday catalog too, I mentioned that we've got copper, gold, and silver ink pads. So those ink refills will work as well. Okay. Let's see here. Shirley says she missed everything. She'll have to watch the replay. And thank you, Auntie Judy. Thanks for watching. And let's see here. Would a water pen thing work? Can't remember. The aqua painter? Yeah, you can use an aqua painter as well. I just prefer to use a wet paintbrush because I find that the paintbrush that I use, I don't have it handy. It's in a bin for somebody else is going to do some work for me, and I put it in the bin because they're splattering on it. But it is a paintbrush that is, let me see if I have something similar. Okay, let's move this out of the way. Okay, so it's a little bit thicker than this. So you can see it's a little bit longer and a little bit thicker, not much thicker though. And I find it just gives the perfect splatter. Whereas the aqua painters, you can definitely use that, but I find it's a bigger brush. So I find, for me, I don't like the way it splatters as much as I like the paintbrush that I use. So like I said, it's shaped like this, so it's not shaped like this. Not a paintbrush like that. It's probably half the width of this, but shaped like that. I don't know if that helps or not, but hopefully that gives you an idea. It's just it's a smaller paintbrush than the aqua painter is. Okay, so that's what I use. Any other questions before we head out? No? Okay. All right. Well, thanks so much for watching, guys. If there's any supplies that you would like to order, feel free to visit my blog at stamptreasures.com and using this host code, and I'll send you a little gift at the end of the month if your order is over $50 or more. And be sure to follow along on my blog for the 31 days of scrapbooking tips. All right? Thanks so much for watching. Have a fabulous weekend. Bye-bye.